Hey, so getting back to work on MonZora. Today's task is going to be to get the rear bar kind of put together, at least tacked together. Like I said in a previous video, the rear suspension is out of a C5 Corvette, but I cut 5 inches out of the middle of it and narrowed it so that I could package these giant tires inside the stock Corvair wheel arches. So what that means is now I have to shorten the bar the same amount. In addition, on the C5, the bar would be mounted upside down from the way it is right now, and that drop in the center would actually kick up, but that wouldn't clear my transaxle mount right there. So what I had to do is switch the bar from end to end. Now, the attachments to the lower control arms are not vertical, they're at a slight angle. So switching the bar from end to end put those angles, put the ends at the wrong angles relative to the tabs on the control arms, and that would have bound up the drop links. So what I had to do, and the reason you see a sleeve right there, is because I had to cut the ends off of the bar and rotate them to the proper orientation so that they're not in the same plane. Oh, I can't do that. They're not in the same plane, but at least they are parallel between the end of the bar and the tab on the control arm. So that gives me 3 sleeves that I have to mark and weld. One in the center. Now, because the center one is going to be primarily in torsion, I've slash cut the ends of it, and that'll put the welds, instead of being circumferential, it'll put them at an angle, and so they'll be loaded in compression as well as shear. Out on the ends, because that part of the bar primarily is just going to bend rather than twist, it'll be okay for those the ends of those sleeves to be cut basically circumferential welds, so that'll be fine. And so now we're going to get at it. So just pulling the rear bar off, had it mocked up with a couple of short pieces of heater hose holding the ends together, and holding it together in the center as well. Pull all that apart and try to slip the sleeves together. So there you see how that goes. And there's the slash cut piece for the center. And then figured before I can weld it up, I gotta clean off the coating from the bar. So tried hitting it on the wire wheel, but it was a little bit too tough for that. So then I got a bright idea: angle grinder with a flap disc. And that made short work of the coating. Got everything smooth and clean and ready to weld. Did both ends, prepped the center. Of course, the centerpiece is about 4.5 inches long, so 2 1/4 on each end, and cleaned them up, got everything slid together nice, took it over to the welding table, and once I figured out how to clamp everything up and remembered to connect the ground cable, then welding commenced. Got everything mocked up, tacked together, took a couple more dimensions, make sure I had everything lined up for the centerpiece. Got that clamped in. Of course, 4.5 divided by 2 is 2 1/4. It's not 2.5, so that's why you measure twice. Got everything tacked up, and then had to figure out how to clamp it up so that I could see into the chamfered section. And didn't have any problem with it, just had to hold the bar vertically. So clamped a chunk of aluminum to the edge of the table, and then clamped the bar to that. Went ahead, wire brushed everything, burned in the rest of the welds on the centerpiece, and the ends at this point the ends are still just tacked, but everything looks good. Seems to be pretty solid. So a moment of pondering. Whoa, there's a teenager walk through, and I only have a few moments a day where we actually cross paths, so I had to talk to her for a bit. And then back to work, getting the bar clamped up, getting everything secured. Had to move the camera because I was going to be welding at the other end of the table, and it was just too close to the other camera spot. So, giving you a different view here. Anyway, cool little welding table from made by Clutch. Got it from Northern Tool. Came with all the clamps, all the little V blocks for holding round stock as well. Pretty cool $200 investment. One of my favorite tools now. This has definitely made my life easier as I'm learning how to weld, trying to get better at this. All right, so that's a wrap on the welding up of the sway bar. As you can see, sleeve on the end, pretty decent bead all the way around. Well, you can't really see all the way around, but you can trust me. So that's a sleeve on one end. Then we've got the sleeve in the middle for that's going to be mostly in torsion. See what I was talking about earlier about the slash cut, which basically, you know, kind of 45 degrees this way. That when the bar twists, you don't have all the heat affected zone circumferential around the bar, so it should be a bit stronger than if it was just a square cut end. All right, so other end, same thing, square cut, not bad. Beads look halfway decent, and I think it'll be just fine. And that's where I'm going to quit for tonight, because I don't feel like climbing under the car to tack the ends. But just to show, I got my mark on there for the depth. I'm gonna measure. Shit, it's not even in frame. There we go. Hey, so there's the marks that I made earlier when I measured it, and slide that in there. Boom! Look at that. Bottoms out on the other piece, or the cut piece. So when I put it on the car, bolt it onto the car, and then I'll just have to clock these ends, you know, get the orientation correct, so it lines up with the drop links and with the tabs on the control arms. Same thing on the other end. There's my mark from previously. Boom, look at that. Pretty tasty. Not so bad if I don't say so myself. Or if I do, whichever. Yeah, that's enough for tonight. Later.